Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Let's see here. Going to Patreon now to repost the live stream link. Good morning, Tavar7, because YouTube hates my guts. So let's go over here to new. Good morning, honey. Be paste. I'm talking at the internet. YouTube still hates my guts. Because you're special. I'm not special. You're special. Good morning, everybody. Not at all how I intended to do this stream, but we're having to take the back door into YouTube to do our live streams, which is fun, question mark. Not so much. Good morning, Daniel K. Hippie hippie chick. We're all special ed. That coffee's hot. I don't need these right now. How we all doing? How's everybody feeling about today? I believe we're going to have a red wave. I guess we'll just start there. I think that President Donald J. Trump is going to win in a landslide. And I think that the leftists are going to reject that openly. And I believe that there's going to be violent action in many cities across the country, from Black Lives Matter, Antifa, many of these other affiliated organizations, protecttheresults.org, blah, 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 blah. And it's potentially going to get brutal in the cities. So that's what I think is going to happen. Good morning. Good morning. Timothy Barrett. Appreciate you. Holy cow, the chat goes by fast. Good morning, Puzzleman. Good morning, Andrew Barnes. Sarah Hoskins is here. Redacted. Good morning, Tavar. Watchman News. Good morning, brother. Marlo. Oh, baby, let my people go. Ave Maria. Good morning. Junebug's here. Les W's here. Badger. I saw Blue Wrench in there. Man, the chat is flying. You're so talkative. Wow. And what's super cool but unexpected is that these mechanics gloves can manipulate. I can manipulate this computadore with the mechanics gloves, which is wonderful. So I do believe Trump's going to win. I do believe the left is going to reject that. And I do believe that that will result in violence in tier 1 cities across the nation, potentially tier 2 cities across the nation. Our nearest city is a tier 3.5, maybe a tier 4 city. It's barely a city. So anyway, I'm not necessarily worried for us here in the immediacy, but perhaps some potential chaos after that. Good morning, Diggin. Luke Thompson's here. Gun shop robbery in Newark, Ohio last night. Goza, good morning, Matthew Goza. Granny Puckett, we were just talking about you last night. All the good things. All the good things. We miss y'all. If you need to bug out, come see me. Do you stick firewood? You mean, do you stock firewood? Yes, we do. We do stock firewood. Oklahoma survival. White Horse Projects. Lee Roby, good morning, brother. I always feel bad for the people who listen to this on the podcast because they have no idea what's going on. I barely know what's going on, and it's my show because the chat is insane. Hacksaw, good morning, Hacksaw. It's no, it's not 60 to 65 degrees. I got a puffy in my jacket. There we go. Feel better now. I think it's 37 right now and humid. It's been very humid lately. So, yeah. Cougar County adept. Old oil barrel, wood stove, yada yada yada. Iron Man, good morning, Iron Man. At the polls at 6:30 vote this morning. It was already a full house. That's awesome. Interstate Steel. Heck yeah, Interstate Steel. InterstateSteelFab.com. If you need a metal building, those are the people to go to. Or stairs, handrail, whatever. You need metal. Interstate Steel Fab. They're your people. But don't blow them up with nonsense. How much is it going to be to get a half a sheet of expanded metal to replace the old trailer for in my 5-foot wide trailer that I got in 1982? It needs a new air tube in the tire. I like that tire, though. It's only a 13-inch tire, but it's a 4-ply tire. And sometimes the valve stem leaks, and I lost the little cap that goes on the top of there, and one of the blinker lights doesn't work. But that's okay because Tractor Supply has the blinker lights for $7.99. And I was going to get the blinker light for $7.99, but I couldn't because my cat got pneumonia. And when cats get pneumonia, you have to take them to the vet. And the vet bill was very, very high. And none of that. Okay. If you're a professional who needs metal, Interstate Steel Fab, they're the best. We love them. We don't care about your cats with pneumonia. Okay. Okay. Cool. The boat captain. Let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and predict it now. By the way, we will be doing live election coverage this evening, which should be an absolute disaster, but whatever. Hell of a time I picked to be under a Nazarite vow, by the way. So, yeah. Yeah. I do believe that certain states are going to go red. I think California is going to be one of them. I don't think Illinois or New York will, but I think Florida is going to go red. I think California is going to go red. I think Colorado will stay blue. I think your traditional blue states. Yeah, I appreciate that, Iron Man. We'll see what happens. Washington, too. Bad Wabbit says Washington's going to go red. I would be amazed, but I think that's very possible. I think your typical northeastern blue states are going to go red, or I'm sorry, are going to go stay blue. I think Pennsylvania's going to go red. Ohio's going to go red. Yeah. Are you and Renee awake? Then yes, you and Renee will be drinking. Crazy ladies. So, Ohio for Jorgensen. I wish you the best of luck with that, Ryan. Texas, I think, will go red, but I'm very interested in how the Texas race goes because, there's been so much talk that Cruz only beat Beto in 2018 or whenever the hell it was for by like 2.6 points. Granted, you're talking South Texas, and Beto was attempting to be Hispanic or whatever. I'm so non-politically correct. I don't even know what the politically correct terms are. He was trying to be a Latin American. I don't know. Hispanics, I think, is the accurate term. Goza, help me out here. I don't know. My net worth. $12. My wife just told me somebody Googled my net worth. Tex-Mex, Roger that goes up. So down there in the Tex-Mex region, Beto was attempting to be Tex-Mex, but didn't work. But I'm telling you, Austin, blue. Dallas, blue. Houston, probably blue. San Antonio, blue. There's not a lot. I mean, yes, Texas is massive, but that's where a lot of your population is. I think Texas will go red, but I'm very curious to see what happens with the elections there. Christopher Twilly, Houston blue for show. Black sheep, population density problems. Exactly. BearIndependent.com. Beto is a sham. Oh, I agree. His name is Bob O'Rourke. Bob O'Rourke. That's not very Tex-Mex sounding to me. He sounds like the third shift bartender at a bad, bar and grill place. At the TGI Fridays, it was the third one ever built somewhere. Bob O'Rourke. What do you want? An old fashioned? Exactly. Bennigan's, yes, Bennigan's. Remember back in the day? Bojangles. Redacted said, I'm really concerned or disturbed by Christians who vote Democrats in this election. Well, hell, let's just go there. I don't know how you can be for a party that systematically supports the taking of innocent life and call yourself a Christian. However, if we're going to play this game, I don't know how so many people that call themselves Christians never read their Bibles and have a drive-through a la carte faith where they've cherry-picked the things that they like. And that's their own personal faith. And dress up and play the church game for an hour or two each week and forget that there's 168 hours in a week, not 1 or 2 hours in a week. So, calling yourself a Christian is one of the easiest things in the world to do. But words don't matter. It's deeds, not words, homie. Deeds, not words. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you're going to do. Don't tell me what you're all about. Show me what you're all about. This is James chapter 2. You say you have faith. I will show you my faith by my works, because faith without works is like a body without a soul. So it doesn't matter what you say. This is Matthew 7:21, straight out of the mouth of Messiah. And many shall say to me in that day, have we not cast out demons in your name and prophesied in your name and done many mighty works in your name? And I will say unto you, depart from me, you who work lawlessness, for I never knew you. You might have claimed me. You might have said you were a Christian, but I don't know who the hell you are, because you're not doing the things. You're not out there living the life. Faith without works is dead. And so it's very easy for somebody who claims to be a Christian to espouse it with their mouth, but not do it with their hands. Matthew 22, Rabbi, what is the greatest command in all the Torah? And Yeshua, Jesus, what does he say? He says there's two. The first is you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And the next is like unto it, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. This is Deuteronomy 6:4 and Leviticus 19, verse 18. And on this hangs all the Torah and the prophets. You have to love the Lord your God, Yahuwah your Elohim, with everything you have. All of this, not your mouth, heart, mind, soul. Doesn't say anything about mouth. Heart, mind, soul. Everything you have to love him. And you have to love your neighbor as yourself. And the crazy thing is, on this hangs all the Torah and the prophets. You don't get to decide what that looks like. You don't get to say, well, You know, I'm trying to love him like my neighbor, but he's an asshole, so I've done the best that I can. That's not how that works. You love your neighbor as yourself. And we can have that conversation about who a neighbor is, but you love your neighbor as yourself. And you don't get to decide how you're going to love God. He makes it very clear what he expects of us. And when we do what he expects of us, literally, Deuteronomy 28, things go well for us. We're blessed. When we don't do what he expects of us, we're the opposite of blessed. Some people would call it cursed. And so, how do people who claim to be Christians vote for a party that values the color of somebody's skin over the content of their character, that literally is purveying violence in the streets, that is robbing and stealing, is selling children as sex slaves, is murdering unborn children relentlessly? They're fiscally irresponsible. How does a Christian support a political doctrine that's clearly of the enemy? Simple. They're not friggin' Christians. The end. What does Christian mean? It was a derogatory term. The Romans came up with it as Christios. It means those who are trying to be like Christ. So this is straight up the first command of the 10 Commandments in Exodus 20. Don't take the Lord's name in vain. That doesn't mean don't say GD. Although that's like nails on the chalkboard to me. It means don't put his stamp of approval on your bullshit. That's taking the Lord's name in vain. And that's what these people are doing. They're Christians in name only. They're not followers of Christ. They're not trying to be Christ-like. They're using it as some virtue signaling ideology that allows them to feel better about themselves, not realizing at all it's not about them at all. We don't live this life for us, by the way. We live this life to be in service to the Father, he who created us in the first place. And the most powerful unlock you can have in your life is literally what Brother Twitch from Shield Bearer of Faith has tattooed inside of his arms. Here I am, send me. I'm here. Amen, Rooster. I'm here. What do you need me to do? Use me. Send me. Here I am. Send me. It ain't about you. You, the abundance of provision and blessing that you experience is an after effect. It's an unattended positive consequence of your obedience to him and walking out the will that he has for your life and using your giftings, your talents, your delights to be in service to him. Because remember, his son, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, the anointed of the Most High Yahuwah, our Elohim, gave his life for you. Why have you not given your life back to him? And if you have, what are you doing making it all about you, homie? It ain't about you. Ask not what you can do for your country or what your country can do, whatever the hell that phrase is. It ain't about you. It's about you being in service to the Father and enacting his will. So, Christian, follower of Christ, do it. 1 Peter 2:21, for this you were called, the Messiah having suffered for your sins, that you might walk in his steps, that there is no sin found in him, that there was no deceit in his mouth. Reviling, he did not revile. Hating, did not hate, but committed himself to him who judges righteously. For you were like sheep who had gone astray, but have now returned to the shepherd and overseer of your souls. Walk in his steps, for this you were called, to walk in his steps. Go do it. You can't talk about walking. You have to walk about walking. And so that's, in my humble opinion, how you get people that claim the blood of Messiah, yet don't do anything along the lines of what it means to be covered by the blood of Messiah. Okay? Okay. Good talk. Come Good morning, William Creel. Ken Williams. Shalom, brother. Ken Williams is the one who made the vinyls. You are correct. Good morning, Ken Williams. You do lovely vinyls, sir. Sir or madam, I don't want to assume your gender. Are you sure he's a sir? You've confirmed this? How have you confirmed this? Do we need to talk about it? You assumed his gender on Facebook. Is what you're saying? Hey, I had to refill some prescriptions at Walmart yesterday, and those misogynistic bastards only gave me 2 gender choices when I tried to refill my prescriptions. And I'm like, wait a minute. What? I did it online, woman. I was like, wait a minute. I'm a fluffy squirrel body that poops in a litter box. Where's the check mark for that? Huh? Robert Holiday. Shalom, brother. What's up, Bobby? Good to see you, man. It better be. He's the only one I know that spells his name like that. Man, we got to hang out again. We're going to do chainsaw things. Come visit. Okay, T. My wife says, bring your woman. Shut up, Stump Shoots and Shoots. Love, peace, and hair grease. Yep. Okay, what else are we going to talk about during coffee time? Morning, Alan Carter. What is the trading post? I don't know. That's a Badger question. Um, I'll tell you something that perhaps we need to talk about since we just got done. Thank you, Paul. Since we just got done talking about Christianity and those that claim Messiah yet aren't doing the things. Grindstone, Marlo Heredity. You want to talk about Grindstone for a minute? Yeah. Well, what grindstone things do we want to talk about? Blue wrenches do matter, Andrew Barnes. Alpha Bravo. What is Grindstone up to? I'm on fire to learn more about Grindstone. Cool. So Grindstone, before it even had a name, we went to Florida deployed twice to Florida after Hurricane Michael, and did a bunch of cleanup, fed a bunch of food, had a bunch of wonderful, powerful experiences. And I had a background prior to that in disaster relief and heavy construction, civil construction, so forth, so on. And it felt good. It was awesome. But it's kind of like, all right, Father, you are preparing us for something. What's going on here? And then we did a lady's house in Muskogee, Oklahoma, that during the catastrophic flooding there, her house flooded and a tree fell through her roof. And so she got it from the top and the bottom. Single mom, 3 kids, little house got wrecked. They lost everything. And so we were like, okay. And one of my favorite things is look somebody in the eye and say, I have no idea how we're going to do this, but the Father does. They're like, what are you going to do? We're going to get started and we're going to be amazed at his provision and blessing. And that house in Muskogee, in 10 days on site with $10,000, got new electrical, new plumbing, a new master bathroom, a new roof, new insulation, new drywall, fixed the foundation, new air conditioner. What else did we do there? New fixtures, new everything, new everything. And the roof came from JK Ironman. Bless you very much. Good morning, Jay Johns. Yeah, for 10 grand in 10 days with all volunteer labor. and new paint. I walked into the Walmart there, and I was like, "My name's Bear, and you're giving me paint." And they were like, what?" It's like, "My name is Bear, and you are going to give me paint." They're like, "Okay." And so we did that, and it was a blast. And then we found out about Bethany House, which is a rehabilitation center for victims of human trafficking and sex crimes. And it was in disarray, and the previous construction that had been done on it had all been done by volunteer labor. And it was not done well. And so we're us, and we're kind of like, if you think of Habitat for Humanity as the regular army, we're kind of the special forces of construction ministry. So we deployed a total of 10 days also on Bethany House, and new roof, new plumbing, new electrical, new gas line, new paint, new drywall. I mean, when I say electrical, I mean from the power pole in, everything brand new. New exam rooms, new medical equipment, trim, flooring, paint, windows, doors, exterior drainage trenches, brand new air handler, HVAC system, the whole nine. And we dropped $40,000 and 8,000 man hours. I don't have a final total. By the middle of our third deployment there, we dropped $40,000 and 8,000 man hours. So we're probably 50 and 10,000 for sure. 50,000 and 10,000 man hours and woman hours um, on that project, and just getting it all spun up. And the project grew from um, just Bethany House to the whole facility. They have these care homes for the children that are being rehabilitated, and HVAC systems and all of those, getting the commercial kitchen up and running, um, propane and gas stoves and blah 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 blah, and the septic system, and redoing the well and all of that. And a lot of people, in addition to the planned deployments through Grindstone, a lot of people who were involved ended up spending every weekend they had up there, just going up and working um, afterwards, on their own. And the more we got involved with Bethany House, the more convicted we got to that this is what we need to be doing. The disaster relief stuff was awesome, and it taught us a lot about the Father's provision and blessing. And go do. Faith without works is dead. Go do. Go be the light. Go show people miracles. Look somebody in the eye who's lost everything and say, "I don't know how we're going to do this, but I'm not in charge of the how. He is. Let's sit back and be amazed." And we are constantly. So Grindstone in 2021 is moving fully into the human trafficking and sex crime space to rescue and rehabilitate those people and to restore those people. We aim to break generational curses, unbreak children who have been victimized, and provide a biblical covering for orphans. I cannot get deeper into our mission statement for 2021 at this time, the particulars of it, because there's a lot of, listen, this stuff's DHS regulated. There's national and international authorities at work. There's a lot of governmental involvement in this because it's DHS regulated. There's a lot of vetting. There's a lot of paperwork. The IRS is involved. So I would love it if y'all would keep all of that in prayer, because we need it. We need the government to acquiesce to the Father's will to allow us to do what we need to do. The moment you start rehabbing these kids, DHS gets involved. And contrary to popular belief, there's a lot of people that say they're in this game to rescue and rehabilitate. And praise the Father, there's a lot more rescuing going on than there ever has been. But there's very little rehabilitation happening. And there's a lot of organizations. I talked to an industry insider recently who said, to his knowledge, at least 80% of the organizations he was aware of nationally, 80% nationally, collect funds to rehabilitate children and never do. And not a small amount of funds. He's like, we're not talking, $10,000. Because I'm talking organizations that receive, 10, 50, $200 million in grants and grassroots funding and never rehab one child. Well, that's bullshit. And that gets right back to putting the Father's stamp of approval on your bullshit. And that is not how we operate at Grindstone. And so that's what we are committed to doing. We are relentlessly pursuing this. I am pushing things off of my plate right now to make the space to do that with my life. The first aid kit company is essentially being run by my team. The consultancy has been backburnered. The training division is being run by the own training division team. I will still do iPhone things like this, but my focus in 2021 is Grindstone. How do we fix this? We got to figure out how to fix this and bring some accountability and leadership to this space that right now is hoovering up money to do things that never get done. And so that's what Grindstone's about. Good morning, Carol. Every dime, man, goes to first order effects at Grindstone. We only fund first order effects. And everybody, the people who volunteer with us are badass because we don't fund second order effects. It's not like I need a carpenter, but Jeff's in Texas. So I'll throw Jeff some money so that he can get up here and take the week off to come work for us and cover his fuel. That's not what we do. Jeff pays for it himself. Jeff typically is bringing a trailer or a truck full of materials with him when he comes as well, that he's scavenged off of job sites or bought off, out of his own pocket because he knows that the ministry needs it. We have people from all over North America who come and work with us, who foot the bill to come work with us, lose out on income from their job, spend their own money for travel, spend their own money for meals and lodging, spend their own money on materials, buy tools to get the job done, and then donate them to Grindstone. I mean, it's absolutely incredible to see how the Father has been working. And this COVID-19 bullshizer has been driving me crazy because we need to be being active. And we have not been in a position legally where we can be, but all that's fixing to change because earmuffs, kids. I don't give a shit. We got to do this. So we're going to do this. The end. And there's something nice, convenient, provision and blessing about being credentialed by DHS. Bear, you're a CIA, FBI informant spreading misinformation on the YouTubes. Yeah, you caught me. You caught me. You're totally right. Hold on. Pause on the black helicopter. They're on to me. Okay. So either way, I know I'm busting Joshua. Either way, we intend to get this done. However we got to do, we intend to get this done. So that's what Grindstone's about. And we're 100% grassroots funded, man. I'm amazed by y'all. Amen, Jay Johns. Amen, Jay Johns. So, and I'll tell you, black helicopters matter. Yeah, they do, big brother. I'll tell you this too. Don't come to a Grindstone event because you want to meet me. Two reasons. First of all, you may be very disappointed to realize that it's not a meet and greet. We're there to GSD, get stuff done. The second is, I'm gonna be so busy while we're there doing those things. The only time for real meaningful interaction, well, this is really part 2 of part 1, is in the evenings when we fellowship. The real point number 2 is if you're coming to meet me on a Grindstone mission, your heart's not in the right place. I'm a man. That's it. Don't come be in service to me. I don't want you to be in service to me. You come to Grindstone to be in service to the Creator, to be his hands and feet. Don't come for me. I'm not special. Don't put your faith in man, which actually is a good time to what we're going to talk about next. Don't put your faith in man, especially me. Don't do it. Don't put me on a pedestal because I will disappoint you. I've disappointed me enough times to know that it's just a matter of time before I disappoint you. Don't put your faith in me. You come because you have a servant's heart and you want to help the Father's kingdom, not because you want to hang out with Bear. So, oofta. Bear's the mayor of Bearistan. Thanks, Michael. I prefer High Chieftain of Bearistan, but whatever. You're the sheriff. Yeah. Hami's the sheriff. We need to get you 2 6-shooters. Sheriff's in town. Oh, that's a YouTube After Dark comment, honey. Oh, man. Billy Hill, Shalom. I don't know if the brain bucket has come in yet. I appreciate you sending it, though. I'll have to talk to my people and find out. I'm not in the shipping and receiving department anymore. Praise Yah. Ballistic helmet from Brain Buckets by Billy. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it's at the office, but she hasn't opened the box yet. All right. Next thing I want to talk about, since it's my show and I get to drive the bus ish. And typically these coffee times with Bear have become a Patreon only thing, but I couldn't get the private link to work on YouTube because do you even mess with Bear's live streams, bro? So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do a public live stream here. So I appreciate 1.2 thousand of y'all being here for coffee time. That's a good time. Is Trump anointed? Here's a question. Is Trump anointed? And I'll lead into that question with this. There's a couple of channels that I wouldn't say follow, but appointed but not necessarily anointed. Agreed. Sarah Hoskins, bless you. Puzzleman says yes, not even close. Asterisk men. No, Trump isn't environmental enough. Earl's daughter, good morning. No. Last trumpet being used by God. I think he switched on. He said to be a man of prayer. This is different. Janet Taylor, just heard another meaning of MAGA. Are you referring to that Ms. Dana Ashley video? I watched the first 6 minutes of that 41-minute video about Trump getting reelected and why that's a bad thing. And don't you understand that the Church of Satan, their fifth level of indoctrination into the Church of Satan is MAGA or Magus? Well, Ms. Dana Ashley, take it from somebody who played drums for a decade in satanic metal bands. For those who don't know, just go here. Why not? For those that don't know. And by the way, if the Father can use me, I'm not interested in your bullshit excuses about why he can't use you. Oh, and by the way, I'm covered in tats. So, Ms. Dana Ashley, it's not MAGA and Magus, it's Maja and Magus. And you've built a 41-minute video around the fact that you don't know how to pronounce a word. Do I think that Trump is a Luciferian Satanist? No. Do I think that Trump is being used by Luciferian Satanists? No. Do I think that Trump is a real hardcore believer in the Most High? No. Do I believe that the Father can use everybody and anybody if they have a willing heart? Absolutely. Do I believe that Trump is being used for the will of the Father? Yes, because we all are if we are open to it. Here's the thing, and here's where I get a little perturbed, is that there are several YouTube channels that are constantly, consistently referring to this great and wonderful president who has the hand of God on him, Donald J. Trump, and how awesome is our God that he has chosen this president to lead us through this time, and blah, 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 blah. Yeshua himself, Jesus the Christ, says, call no man master but your Father in heaven. Call no man master but your Father in heaven. Quit putting that man on a pedestal. You know, I saw a sign around here. It was one of these political signs in somebody's front yard, and I loved it. I wish I had taken a picture of it and put it on Instagram, but I didn't. And all it said was, Jesus 2020, our only hope. I was like, you know what? That's accurate right there. That's accurate. Because the Father's will is going to be done no matter what. I like Trump. I didn't when he first got in. I like him. I don't love him. I don't put my faith in him. I do not put my hope in him. Because if I do, let's say he wins. Praise the Most High. Trump has won. 4 years from today, what am I going to be doing? Losing my mind over the next election. Because I put my hope in man, not in Elohim. So, I don't think that he is anointed by the Most High. I think that he perhaps has been appointed for a time, and that as willing as he is to let the Father use him, he will be used. So, thank you. Bless you. So, that being said, taking off my spiritual hat, putting on my America hat. Oh my gosh, is he 4,000 times better than Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.? Yeah, no bueno. Not a Biden fan at all. Definitely not a Kamala fan. And a vote for Biden is a vote for Kamala. A vote for this cup is wonderful, though. Is this the Reynaldito cup? Yeah. Good job, Reynaldito. Good job. Boom. What? Prepping for tweakers? Well, step one, we need to be able to cook all the meth. We're going to need propane, a camp stove, some Sudafed, some antifreeze, some 2-liter bottles. Yeah, we're in business. Prepping for tweakers. Oh my gosh. No. No. Oh man. Uh if Biden wins, you lose your guns. If Trump wins, you keep your guns. Jeff, if Biden wins, you lose your guns. Here's the other thing I want to explain to y'all. That's something I think we've touched on from time to time. They will only do what you let them do. They will only do what you let them do. They will only do what you let them do. And I'm telling you this, they will weaponize food, commerce, and resources against you. Those in the city, those in the suburbs, those that are less independent than they ought to be, there will come a time. It may not be this election, it may not be this decade. There will come a time. Mark my words, there will come a time when you don't buy without your little ID card that says that you've been vaccinated. You don't go into Walmart without your ID card. You don't drive around without your travel documents that say you're allowed to cross state lines because you're in the federal National Institutes of Health National Registry of COVID vaccinated persons or whatever. Oh, you're starving to death? We have a gun buyback program. We know the dollar's worthless, but we will give you $600 in groceries for every rifle you turn in. How do I know this? Because it's one of the oldest tactics in the book. Think about Pharaoh, literally, in the book. Pharaoh, Philip, bless you. The story of Joseph. In the first year, people were trading garments, gold and silver, buying and trading for food. And then it eventually turned to livestock. Then from livestock, it turned to people and land. By the end of the 7-year period of famine, Pharaoh, who had all the food, owned everything. All the gold and silver, all the garments, all the livestock, all the people, all the water rights, all the land. He had food. Food is power. And the denial of commerce is power. I'm sorry, Bob, you can't come to work until you can prove that you're safe to be around. You're going to have to get vaccinated. You're going to have to this. You're going to have to that. One step after the next, after the next, after the next. And it's going to come faster and faster and faster until you don't even know what the world is that you're living in anymore. They will weaponize resources against you. The more resources you have for yourself, and the more ability you have to replenish those consumable resources, the better off you will be. Can they come take your resources? Of course they can. They will only do what you let them do. What goes on in here and in here is 10,000% larger than what I can ever talk about here. I can't give you that. I can only hope that for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, you're picking up what I'm putting down here. This is so much more than a 2-week emergency food supply than my Patriot supply. This is so much more than I got my Smith & Wesson M&P Sport 2 with the flip-up rear sight. Those things are good. You should have them. This is a lifestyle. This is a way of life because the world will change. The world is changing. Evil is on the rise. Even the very elect will be deceived. Why do good men commit atrocities? Touched on this before as well. Bless you, Chris. Thank you. Why do good men commit atrocities? Because to them, it is less terrible for them to drag a pregnant woman by her hair out of a house and shoot her in the back of the head than it is to watch their children starve to death. So you might not be ideologically in line with the they that have all the power, but you will absolutely capitulate and do whatever the hell it is they tell you to do. They have all the leverage and you have none. They will weaponize resources against you. Understand that now. That's the one thing you take away from this live stream today. Understand that with all your being, they will weaponize resources against you. Oldest tactic in the book. Is everybody tracking? Oh, I know against me too, Boston Bulldog. I am well aware of it. I'm not saying that I'm immune to this. I'm not. I'm in the same boat that y'all are. Other than potentially, I'm in a better position to replenish my stockpiles than many. Home skillet, shalom. Good morning, Miss Lovely Dudley. Solidarity. Morning, Judy Prepper, Tom Craig. Good job, Badger. Good job. Good job, Badger. Good job. Cartman 2020. I crave attention. Hey, Bear. Hi, Doc Savage. Should probably get that looked at. Probably get like some attention placebo sugar pills. You could chew on one every morning and it'll help you out quite a bit. You know what I mean? Mark O'Connor, not Canada loves you back, eh? Listen, don't trip over your moose and land in a puddle of maple syrup, you know? The only way to wash that off is with some Molson Golden. That's right. That's right. 2 minutes for fighting off the ice. There you go. Our children are dependent upon Trump winning. No. 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 I'm going to go off on a tirade. Thank you, sweetie. You're headed to the where? You're going to vote and you're going to the office. Are you bringing your AK-97 AR pistol rifle, SBR tactical super bazooka with you?
Yes.
You are. It's good. You're driving the tank to the office.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good. You want me to go gunner? No? Okay, you got it. You got Renee for gunner. Copy that. Okay. Easy on the 50 cal ammo, Renee. It's getting hard to find. Our children are not dependent upon Trump winning. Our children are dependent upon Yahuwah or Elohim, the Lord our God, and you raising them up in the way that they should go so that they do not depart from it when they are older. That's what our children are dependent upon. Take some personal responsibility. Don't put this off on Trump. Don't put it off on the election. Well, the world's going to go to shit if Trump doesn't win. We just talked about this. What are you going to do 4 years from now? It's on you. Your children are dependent on you. Your world is what you make of it. Your children's world is what you make of it. Make a good one. Spend your life in a worthy cause. Raise them up in the way that they should go so they do not depart from it when they are older. Shut up, cat. I'm talking to the computer. Our children are not dependent upon Trump. They're not dependent upon the school system. They're not dependent upon their teachers. They're not dependent upon their friends or their youth pastor. They're dependent upon you. Do not subcontract the well-being of your children to anyone. Anyone. They're dependent upon you. Great news. It's why you were made. So lean into it. Do it. Don't give away that authority to anyone. Because on the one hand, we're just willing to just completely give that authority away to somebody else. And on the other hand, bitch and moan about, well, the youth today and this and that, and teachers have to be more proactive. And you gave that away. You don't get to whine about something that you gave away. Our children are not dependent upon Trump. They're dependent upon you. And I would highly recommend that you act like it. Because this world, regardless of who is president, is not going to be kind to our children. This world is a dangerous place. There is real evil out there. If you don't guard them, if you don't protect them, if you don't teach them and equip them and empower them to be able to stand against the evil, doesn't matter who's president. If you're a real federalist, it doesn't matter who's president, period. Why would some blunt force object like the federal government be instrumental in something as deeply personal as the raising of my children? There's not a snowball's chance in hell that I give that away to the federal government, that I cede that power to an authority outside of my own home. No way. Not happening. Children are dependent upon you. Do your job and don't give it away. How much longer on the Nazarite vow? 11 November. The Jamek. It's all good. I can't see you. Picture is black. I don't know, Ramon. I didn't tell you. I identify as a black bear now. Deuteronomy 6. And this is the command, the laws, and the right rulings which Yahweh your Elohim has commanded to teach you to do in the land which you are passing over to possess. Think about when those Puritans hopped on wooden ships and came here, passing over to possess this land. I'm telling you, early Americans kept the Torah. Just read through history. So that you fear Yahweh your Elohim, to guard all his laws and his commands, which I command you, you and your son and your grandson, all the days of your life, and that your days be prolonged. And you shall hear, O Israel. Who's Israel? Not a nation state on a map. Genesis 32. Israel. He who is striving with Elohim. He who has overcome with Elohim. And he who is ruling with Elohim. That's Israel. If you claim Messiah and you walk in his ways, you are Israel. And you shall hear, O Israel, and shall guard to do. Be not just a hearer of the word, but doer also. Faith without works is dead. And shall guard to do, that it might be well with you, and that you increase greatly, as Yahweh, Elohim of your fathers, has spoken to you in a land flowing with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh is one. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, with all your soul, and with all your might. Sound familiar? And these words, which I'm commanding you today, shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. and you shall bind them as a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on your doorposts of your house and on your gates. And the end of that chapter, and it is righteousness for us when we guard to do all this command before Yahweh, our Elohim, as he has commanded us. And if you want confirmation of that was not done away with, read Luke, the Gospel of Luke, chapter 1, verse 6. Righteousness is blamelessly walking in the commands of Yahweh. Raise your children up in the way that they should go, so they do not depart from it when they are older. Now, we talked about an anointing of Donald J. Trump. Have you all seen this Archbishop Vigano open letter to Trump? Have y'all seen that? Yes. Yep. Saw it. Yes. Yes, I read it. Bless you, wild boars. No. Yep. Yep. No. Oh, yes. No. Yes. Both. No. Please share. Yes. No. Yes. No. Who? No. 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 Yes. 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 No. 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 Heard about it. No. 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 Yes. 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 I read it. Yes. No. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Confirmation of the Great Reset. Let me go ahead and pull it up right quick. I'm going to, I'll read it. Okay. Archbishop Vigano, an open letter warning President Trump as the election approaches. Let me see if I can navigate this with my gloved hands. Open letter to the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. Sunday, 25 October 2020. Solemnity of Christ the King. Mr. President, allow me to address you at this hour in which the fate of the whole world is being threatened by a global conspiracy against God and humanity. I write to you as an archbishop, as a successor of the apostles, as the former apostolic nuncio to the United States of America. I'm writing to you in the midst of the silence of both civil and religious authorities. May you accept these words of mine as the voice of one crying out in the desert, which is a reference to John chapter 1. As I said when I wrote my letter to you in June, this historical moment sees the forces of evil aligned in a battle without quarter against the forces of good. Forces of evil that appear powerful and organized as they oppose the children of light, who are disoriented and disorganized, abandoned by their temporal and spiritual leaders. Daily, we sense the attacks multiplying of those who want to destroy the very basis of society, the natural family, respect for human life, love of country, freedom of education and business. We see heads of nations and religious leaders pandering to this suicide of Western culture and its Christian soul, while the fundamental rights of citizens and believers are denied in the name of a health emergency that is revealing itself more and more fully as instrumental to the establishment of an inhuman, faceless tyranny. A global plan called the Great Reset is underway. Its architect is a global elite that wants to subdue all of humanity, imposing coercive measures with which to drastically limit individual freedoms and those of entire populations. In several nations, this plan has already been approved and financed. In others, it is still in an early stage. Behind the world leaders who are the accomplices and executors of this infernal project, there are unscrupulous characters who finance the World Economic Forum and Event 201, promoting their agenda. The purpose of the Great Reset is the imposition of a health dictatorship aiming at the imposition of liberticidal measures hidden behind tempting promises of ensuring a universal income and canceling individual debt. I want to pause right there, and I want to just touch on this briefly, Bear Nation. During this Great Reset, and I believe they're going to try and shoehorn this thing through, again, we talked about weaponizing resources. You're going to hear a lot about canceling your debt. If you'll just do this, we'll cancel your debt. If you'll just do that, we'll cancel your debt. You're not canceling any debts. You're just transferring a monetary debt to a physical one, because now you owe them your life. Remember, there's only one who's already paid for your life. Don't squander it. Get out of debt now, because they're going to weaponize that against you too. And like resources, they might be able to weaponize that against all of us. They can't weaponize that against me, because praise the Father, I don't have any. I live a humble life. I don't have much when it comes to material goods, but I don't need much when it comes to material goods. Get out of debt now. The price of these concessions from the International Monetary Fund will be the renunciation of private property and adherence to a program of vaccination against COVID-19 and COVID-21 promoted by Bill Gates with the collaboration of the main pharmaceutical groups. Beyond the enormous economic interests that will motivate the promoters of the Great Reset, the imposition of the vaccination will be accompanied by the requirement of a health passport and a digital ID, with the consequent contact tracing of the population of the entire world. Those who do not accept these measures will be confined in detention camps or placed under house arrest, and all their assets will be confiscated. Mr. President, I imagine that you are already aware that in some countries the Great Reset will be activated against the end of this year and between the end of this year and the first trimester of 2021. For this purpose, oh my gosh, do you even fingers, bro? For this purpose, further lockdowns are planned, which will officially be justified by a supposed second and third wave of the pandemic. You are very well aware of the means that have been deployed to sow panic and legitimize draconian limitations on individual liberties, artfully provoking a worldwide economic crisis. In the intentions of its architects, this crisis will serve to make the recourse of the nations to the Great Reset irreversible, thereby giving the final blow to a world whose existence and very memory they completely want to cancel. But this world, Mr. President, includes people, affections, institutions, faith, culture, traditions, and ideals. People and values that do not act like automatons, who do not obey like machines, because they are endowed with a soul and a heart, because they are tied together by a spiritual bond that draws its strength from above, from that God that our adversaries want to challenge, just as Lucifer did at the beginning of time with his non-servium. Many people, as well we know, are annoyed by this reference to the clash between good and evil and the use of apocalyptic overtones, which according to them exasperate spirits and sharpen divisions. It is not surprising that the enemy is angered at being discovered just when he believes he has reached the citadel he seeks to conquer undisturbed. What is surprising, however, is that there is no one to sound the alarm. The reaction of the deep state to those who denounce its plan is broken and incoherent, but understandable. Just when the complicity of the mainstream media had succeeded in making the transition to the New World Order almost painless and unnoticed, all sorts of deceptions, scandals, and crimes are coming to light. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. 1 Peter 5 ONE Peter FIVE 1 Peter 5 is where you can find this. I'll post a link to this on Patreon here in a bit. But I'm telling you, keep going. David Barnett says keep going. Let me see if I can grab it right here with my mechanics gloves on. Copy. Let me see. Boom. I did a thing. Mike Morrison, bless you, brother. Thank you very much, brother. You were freaking awesome. Appreciate you. All right, I'll read a little bit more. Until a few months ago, it was easy to smear as conspiracy theorists those who denounced these terrible plans, which we now see being carried out down to the smallest detail. No one, up until last February, would have ever thought that in all of our cities, citizens would be arrested simply for wanting to walk down the street, to breathe, to want to keep their businesses open, to want to go to church on Sunday. Yet now it is happening all over the world, even in picture postcard Italy, that many Americans consider to be a small, enchanted country with its ancient monuments, its churches, its charming cities, its characteristic villages. And while the politicians are barricaded inside their palaces, promulgating decrees like Persian satraps, businesses are failing, shops are closing, and people are prevented from living, traveling, working, and praying. The disastrous psychological consequences of this operation are already being seen, beginning with the suicides of desperate entrepreneurs and of our children segregated from friends and classmates, told to follow their classes while sitting at home alone in front of a computer. In sacred scripture, Paul speaks to us of one who opposes the manifestation of the mystery of iniquity. 2 Thessalonians 2, 6, and 7. In the religious sphere, this obstacle to evil is the church, and in particular the papacy. In the political sphere, is that it is those who impede establishment of the New World Order. Now, this dude's a Catholic, and I'm not going to jump into the rabbit hole of the papacy, but whatever he prefers, that's fine. He's religious, and he's hitting a home run up until this point. I'm not religious at all, but I'm deeply spiritual, and I live my life in service to Yahweh, my Elohim. So, whatever. As is now clear, the one who occupies the chair of Peter, the Pope, has betrayed his role from the very beginning, agreed, in order to defend and promote the globalist ideology supporting the agenda of the deep church who chose him from its ranks. Mr. President, you have clearly stated that you want to defend the nation, one nation, under God, fundamental liberties and non-negotiable values that are denied and fought against today. It is you, dear President, who are the one who opposes the deep state, the final assault of the children of darkness. For this reason is that it is necessary that all people of good will be persuaded of the epical importance of the imminent election, not so much for the sake of this or that political program, but because of the general inspiration of your action that best embodies, in this particular historical context, that world, our world, which they want to cancel by means of the lockdown. Your adversary is also our adversary. It is the enemy of the human race, he who is a murderer from the beginning. This is Hasatan, the Nachash, Satan. Around you are gathered with faith and courage those who consider you the final garrison against world dictatorship. The alternative is to vote for a person who is manipulated by the deep state, gravely compromised by scandals and corruption, who will do to the United States what Jorge Mario Bergoglio is doing to the church. Prime Minister Conte to Italy, President Macron to France, Prime Minister Sanchez to Spain, and on and on. The black, gosh dang thumbs, hashtag bear thumbs. The blackmailable nature of Joe Biden, just like that of the prelates of the Vatican's magic circle, will expose him to be used unscrupulously, allowing illegitimate powers to interfere in both domestic politics as well as international balances. It is obvious that those who manipulate him already have someone worse than him ready with whom they will replace him as soon as the opportunity arises. And yet, in the midst of this bleak picture, this apparently unstoppable advance of the invisible enemy, an element of hope emerges. The adversary does not know how to love, and it does not understand that it is not enough to assure a universal income or to cancel mortgages in order to subjugate the masses and convince them to be branded like cattle. This people, which for too long has endured the abuses of a hateful and tyrannical power, is rediscovering that it has a soul. It is understanding that it is not willing to exchange its freedom for the homogenization and cancellation of its identity. It is beginning to understand the values of the bonds of faith and culture that unite honest people. This great reset is destined to fail because those who planned it do not understand that there are still people ready to take to the streets to defend their rights, to protect their loved ones, to give a future to their children and their grandchildren. The leveling inhumanity of the globalist project will shatter miserably in the face of the firm and courageous opposition of the children of light. The enemy has Satan on its side, he who only knows how to hate. But on our side, we have the Lord Almighty, the God of armies, ready for battle, who will crush the head of the ancient serpent. For if God is for us, who can be against us? Mr. President, you are well aware that in this crucial hour, the United States of America is considered the defending wall against which the war declared by the advocates of globalism has been unleashed. Place your trust in the Lord, strengthened by the words of the Apostle Paul. I can do all things in him who strengthens me. To be an instrument of divine providence is a great responsibility, for which you will certainly receive all the graces of state that you need, since they are being fervently implored for you by many people who support you with their prayers. With this heavenly hope and the assurance of my prayer for you and the First Lady, for your collaborators, with all my heart I send you my blessing. God bless the United States of America. Carlo Maria Vigano, Archbishop of Alpiana, former apostolic nuncio to the United States of America. If that's not a badass letter, I don't know what is. And I think it gets back to very much so Savage One Survival. Good morning. Is Trump anointed? I don't believe so. What does Christ mean? The anointed one. That's what it means. That's what it means. Is Donald J. Trump Christ? No. Is he appointed? Yes. So remember where our allegiances need to lie. To the anointed first, and then to the appointed. And if the appointed, Trump, seeks the anointed, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, and puts himself in service to our Creator, then we may have an avenue for divine providence here in the United States of America. But because of that, oh my goodness, come here. Let me see. You just got those shoes on by yourself?
Yeah.
Is your sister awake?
Mm-mm.
No.
Uh-huh.
She is. What is all over your face? You just woke up and you need a bath.
No.
Okay. Well, I'll be in 1 minute, okay? I'm doing my show. Can I get a high five? Thanks. No, don't stay out here with me. It's cold. I'll be inside in 1 minute, okay? Yeah. Go get with 9. And let that big slobbery dog in the house, please. Let him in. Toddler's gonna toddle. Let him in. I'll be right there. If as many of us in this nation fought diligently for and waved flags for and paraded for the anointed rather than the appointed, we wouldn't have a question of divine providence. We wouldn't have the problems we have. 30,000 people arrayed in the streets to praise Yeshua and to worship the Father God. None of this shit would matter. If your hope not in man, call no man master but your Father in heaven. Straight out of the mouth of Messiah. So don't confuse anointed and appointed. Let's pray. Morning, Father Yah. Father, I don't know what comes next. I don't know what this election holds, but I know that you are trustworthy and true, that you keep your promises. When you say forever, you mean forever. That you are long-suffering, that you remember every one of us, that you can number the hairs on our head, Father, that before there was space and time, you knew us and you loved us, that you created us for this very moment to do your will. So, Father, I ask that you would just make your will clear to us, that you would convict us in the doing of it, that you would provide a way for us to do it. Father, I pray that you would lead us to be not conformed to this world, that we would remember the anointed and not worship the appointed. Father, I pray that you would bring peace to our souls and imbue us with courage and strength for what comes next, for what lies ahead. Pray that you would strengthen us to withstand the enemy. We would not be deceived. Father Yah, if there is anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, and I command it to flee. Father Yahuwah, my Elohim, fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, for wisdom and discernment, patience, for strength, for power and authority, Father, for healing, and for peace that surpasses all understanding. Father, thank you for being sovereign over all things. Big picture things like this election, and little picture things like the disposition of our very souls. Father, thank you for making a way home for busted up people like me. Thank you for using us to serve you, and for proving over and over again that your arms are longer than my legs. Father, Yah, thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for all these people. Lift them up to you, and I lay them at your feet. Ask you to convict us, and to use us, and to bless us. In Yeshua's name, Amen. Shalom, y'all. See you this evening. Pastor Dylan, Haunted. So many Potato Land, Yankee Watchdog, Aviation Arms, David, Butch, Sigma, Lucky, Tango, Bama, Diggin, Ranger Girl. Bless y'all. Asphalt Cowboy, Goza, bless you. Wow. Shalom, y'all. We'll see you this evening.